name is Ryan Johns with Sage. So again, this presentation is going to be around business intelligence, the BI landscape overall. What I'd like to see accomplished, really what I want to do is define what BI truly is and where it fits on the data analysis continuum. I also want to make a clear distinction between Sage's BI and reporting offerings. There seems to be a major disconnect here, so I want to try and resolve that. Also want to explore ways that data can be leveraged and potentially monetized per vertical market. Then we're going to review a few real-life success stories on how BI helped revolutionize various businesses, and then I'll provide some dates of our upcoming demo schedule. Okay, so as you can see here, we talk about modern BI, powerful, practical, simplistic, shifting the power of analytics from few to many. Historically, business intelligence analytics has been a bit mysterious, a concept that most don't understand, and it's been very IT-centric. But with developments in technology, companies like Sage, RKL, we're able to develop actionable insights to multiple end users in multiple environments. So really the purpose of this presentation is really not to sell you on the next great concept or solution, but to really create awareness of how true BI is being leveraged in multiple vertical markets across the globe. So if you really, think about in business, what separates good from great, success from failure, it's really not necessarily talent, skill, revenue, technology, or even labor resources. I think the primary key to yielding the desired outcomes are tied to the decisions that we make and the disciplines that we exercise each and every day. And how we appropriate and allocate certain business resources is really becoming more and more prevalent in today's ever-evolving and competitive business landscape. Really, I think the reason for the need for tools like this is to really empower our entire workforce. And I've sold software solutions across the nation for many years. One thing that I've realized, and I think a lot of clients are now realizing, that every process has an associated cost. Whether they've been able to recognize that or not, that is the truth. And I think those of us whose day-to-day activities are driven by assumption versus viable data are probably wasting time and wasting a lot of capital as well. So I want to just kind of go into some real quick statistics. Some of you all may have seen this before. Some of you it may be brand new information. But this was pulled from a recent Gartner business report where it said in 2017, it is predicted that business intelligence will become the top priority for organizations of all sizes in nearly every business segment and vertical. The reason why, I mean, you think about a lot of companies now that have a really geographical, diverse workforce. Everybody's working remote or something like that, or companies are merging. So it just creates a very different dynamic. And so the need for collaboration, innovation, agility, and governed access is really at an all-time high. And so the way to achieve those things is typically through a very strong BI solution. And you can see at the bottom, data versus assumption. Almost half of the businesses that were surveyed, they say that many decisions are based on inaccurate or incomplete data. I'm sure we've all been in scenarios like that. And then 46% of business owners say that too few decisions are based on relevant data. So it's not just enough to have data, but how do you translate that into information that matters to you? And at the bottom, you see a recent Tech Target report found that 41% of organizations are planning to make a software investment in BI to accelerate business planning, forecasting, and visibility. And I think those numbers are very, very powerful. So this slide just kind of, again, lays more foundation around the different levels of analysis. So you've got your business intelligence, you have your some predictive analytics, some what-if scenarios, what could happen, and at the top, optimization, what's the best path. And ultimately, we want to get to that place in business because decisions are critical. Making the right decisions are critical to, a lot of times, our success or failure overall. So I've come up with visual depiction, and I think it'll paint a better picture. So these are the two solutions that Sage currently sells today, right? So you've got Sage Intelligence toward the bottom of the continuum and Sage Enterprise Intelligence moving up towards the advanced analytics area. And so what I've done, I mean, of course, we know all three can have an impact, a positive impact on your business, but not necessarily both of those solutions are aligned properly with what your objectives are. And so Sage Intelligence probably falls more in the financial reporting end of the continuum, and you can see how it's defined there. And it does have BI capabilities, don't get me wrong, but when you start getting into big data analysis, mobile access, things like that, multi-company consolidations, Sage Intelligence can do, but enterprise intelligence just really takes that to the next level. And it's kind of creeping up more towards the advanced analytics. There's a version of enterprise intelligence that I'm hoping will roll out maybe at the end of Q2, early Q3. Don't quote me on that, but it's version 8.0, and I think you will be highly, highly impressed with that version of the software if you get a chance to take a look at that. But again, this is probably the best way to distinguish, where those solutions fall. So depending on what your needs are as a company, you can pretty much identify maybe from this visual, hey, we need to maybe lean one way or the other. And so these are some bullets that I kind of want to read verbatim because I really want them to stick and I really want to provoke some thought here, right? So these are the reasons really why companies purchase BI today, drivers for real-time business insights through modern BI. So what do they want? One, they want to gain a competitive advantage. They need to be able to innovate and deliver solutions faster, improve process efficiency. I don't know any business out there that doesn't want to become more efficient, to be able to do more with less, right? To be able to leverage the right resource at the right time for the right action for the best outcome. Number three, precise, targeted, and timely marketing. I think a lot of companies fall short here because there's oftentimes a disconnect between sales and marketing for whatever reason, but this could help bridge the gap there as well. Improve problem resolution. So a lot of you may have a service delivery arm of your organization. Analytics helps you to be able to solve problems faster, more accurately, and potentially mitigate the risk of issue reoccurrence. Improve task management, alerts and activity monitoring, quick access to KPI metrics and KPIs. Number 8 is one I want to sit on for just a second. It can enhance the power of your current software solution. So if you have, Sage ERP, if you have CRM, other add-ons, intelligence really connects to all those and can really give you a pulse of what's happening within a respective business unit or an operations area. And then also another impact is the change of workforce culture. Most of us already use some form of mobile device or way to access information and search for information. So when you deliver BI through mobile methods, then it's an easier adoption rate there because most of us already programmed and conditioned to operate that way. And at the bottom, I think this is pretty powerful as well. It states that 71% of respondents said their mobile BI is crucial to their work versus 41% just last year. That's a huge, huge jump there. So again, the research is really pointing towards this being a major, major priority for a lot of organizations. Actually, let me back up real quick here. What I wanted to point to, because a lot of you on the line probably use Sage CRM or some other CRM solution. I've noticed that a lot, multiple users of CRM. And through talking with our partner community, talking with customers, there have been stated a few limitations with the output and what CRM natively can deliver. But when you add intelligence to that, or maybe more so enterprise intelligence to that, it really makes it a very seamless and much more user-friendly experience, and it's able to really deliver on the outcomes that end user or manager or decision maker is really looking for. And so this kind of gives you a visual of the templates, what that would potentially look like. There is proven cases of this integration being very, very successful on a global level. And it just shows you here how SEI templates can drill down on sales, marketing, as well as customer service. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here, but again, just want to show you how these two solutions can work in concert with one another to create really a CRM with some embedded BI. And so this right here gives you basically the business outcomes by percentage by joining these solutions together. So if you are combining your ERP or business management solution with the CRM plus BI equals improved business outcomes. And you can see the revenue growth, customer satisfaction, efficiency gains, productivity increases. So this further validates the earlier claims, and these are real numbers. So this is something that I think organizations should get very, very excited about. So let's just take a look at the penalties of assumptions versus data-driven decisions. This is further research that's been done and thoroughly vetted. You know how I talk about there's a cost associated with every process, and definitely a cost associated with bad process. So poor collaboration, you can see what happens there. You create unnecessary capital expense and waste. The same thing with the lack of visibility, the same thing with poor process efficiency. The middle pictorials, what I want to show you is that companies that innovate through data typically are positioned to lead the way, and competitors that don't leverage data that way are trying to play catch up. So the question to ask yourself is, you know, what type of organization are we going to be? Are we going to be okay with the status quo? Are we going to be okay with the sacred cows within our organization, the things that nobody really wants to address? Or are we going to do things different and take the lead and really innovate through data? And I think everybody that's on the call today, if you're on this call, that's the type of person you are. That's the type of organization you are. And we definitely want to partner with you in that effort to achieve those goals. So the next slide, this is probably new for a lot of people. It's gotten a very positive response. This is further data that was pulled that's more vertical specific. And so these are kind of the top 8 industries that have been proven to be able to monetize the value of their data. And so if you look down the left-hand column, a lot of you probably fall into one of those categories. In the middle column is the actual data, the monetizable data that you can leverage to achieve the right side, the assumed outcome. So I'm going to let this sit for just 1 second so you can kind of take a look at some of the insight that's been pulled here. And I think we are going to be potentially sending out a recording of this as well, so you'll get a chance to go back through it, because I know it's a lot of information to take in.
We can also send out a copy of this slide.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Danica. So this is probably what a lot of you may want to see, right? So you've got Sage Intelligence at the top, Enterprise Intelligence at the bottom here. And it just breaks down each module or component and how it's licensed. I've heard a lot of colleagues, Sage colleagues, really improperly define what a customer gets, like, for instance, with their business care plan. I hear a lot of them say, well, you've got gold business care, so it comes with BI. You got silver business care, it comes with BI. No, it doesn't come with BI. It comes with a module or two or few of that solution, right? So I've basically given you a definition of what each component does. So the report manager is basically the backbone of the solution. That is the authoring tool. You have to have the report manager to generate any type of report. And it does have standard templates available there. And it is user-specific licensed, okay? Same thing with the report viewer. It provides the user the ability to drill down deeper into the financial data. That is also user-specific licensed. And then you get into the report designer, the financial report designer. that allows you complete customization end to end, and you can customize reports that are most viable for your specific environment. You can set those reports up either through the layout generator, which is drag and drop, or your standard Excel functionality. Whatever works best for you. That is site license, so you just need one license per company at this point. Okay, and then you have the database connector. That is, if you want to connect to anything, any other database outside of your ERP, perform consolidated financials, this module is required, and it is site licensed as well. So you only need one of those. We drop down to enterprise intelligence, the server. Okay, server is required. Requires Windows operating system, Microsoft SQL. This is site license. The OLAP manager, basically data cubes that allow streamlined multi-data source access and analysis. That is also site license. Same with the distribution model. You don't get into the user-specific licenses until you get into BI, Excel, and mobile user access. Okay. For those of you that have not seen a demonstration of Sage Enterprise Intelligence, I highly, highly, highly recommend you take a look at that. And again, we'll have the schedule at the end of this presentation available for everyone. Okay, so those are the ones that are user specific. Again, two very, very different solutions. And so this is what most businesses want measured against what SEI delivers. So again, if you want a true BI solution, something that is dynamic, something that is scalable, something that is real-time access to data, this is probably the path you want to go down. It offers the visibility that you're looking for, the multiple concurrent user access, multi-company reporting, the security you're looking for, and definitely the flexibility. And one thing I want to show you at the very bottom, it's a low cost of entry. So don't be intimidated by the fact that it's branded Sage Enterprise Intelligence. It does not have an enterprise price tag at all. Very rapid ROI, almost immediate, and I'm going to show you some cases where that has been the case. Pricing starting as low as $3,000, maybe a little bit lower than that. So there is a perpetual pricing model as well as subscription licensing model available, right? And so at the end of the day, I mean, technology should make our lives easier, and that's definitely what this solution does. It shouldn't create arduous task where it's very difficult to figure out. So this is an extremely, extremely user-friendly. A novice user could easily manipulate an application like this. And so what I'm going to show you now is kind of the data path and the data sources that it can interact with. It can interact with Sage 100, 300, 500, and X3. We're not selling it right now for 100 due to some internal reasons, but the functionality is available. Hopefully that will be available maybe in Q3. The more demand we have for this solution in that space, it will move that further up the priority list. But it can pull data from legacy systems, third party, multiple data sources, right? And so the data is housed in OLAP cubes, which basically is kind of a staging area for your data, and it just assists in faster analysis, right? And so you've got a web interface, Excel, and mobile. So you can access it multiple different ways. So what I want to do is just take a quick look at some real results. These are real companies that utilize enterprise intelligence today. And I'm not going to go through, who Satellite Industries is or anything like that. You can just see the industry is manufacturing and wholesale, which a lot of, our customers are. But what I want to point out is the verifiable business impact of Sage Enterprise Intelligence. And I want you to look at what was yielded. And this to me is extremely powerful. Month-end closing shortened by over 40%. That is tremendous. Accelerated cash flow. Days sales outstanding drops by 18 full days. It enabled proactive decision making through real-time access to the most relevant data and they recognize an immediate ROI. I think that is very powerful. This next company, I think, Danica, correct me if I'm wrong, this is one of your customers, correct?
That is correct.
That is correct. All right. So definitely RKL can pat themselves on the back for this one. This is huge. Major impact. An industrial manufacturer. They work in specialized respiration equipment. Check out the bullets at the bottom. The verifiable business impact is tremendous. Improve human capital resource allocation, right? You put the right person, the right resource in the right place to get a maximum result. Relief of internal IT resources. They were able to redeploy IT resources to more strategic initiatives, like I said before, because this tool takes BI from an IT-centric environment to a more user-centric environment, right? And you empower your workforce that way. They've got over 250 concurrent users using this solution today, and that's growing. They created mobile workforce enablement, and they consolidated their reporting applications from 8 to 1. They were using 8 different reporting applications, and they consolidated that into one powerful solution. Talk about efficiency. That's efficiency at its best. And cost reduction, of course, as well, because somebody's got to maintain those systems. So major reduction in cost, and eliminated the limitations of Excel reporting, because there are limitations, just like, Sage Intelligence is a great solution, but it is an Excel-based reporting solution. So if you are looking to analyze and report on large sets of data, you will probably be limited in that regard by using a solution that way. So again, this was a huge win, very happy customer, and constantly yielding a very strong ROI. The last one I want to show you is Concentric. They're a business services company. I think they're in the consulting space, IT consultant, presence in 25 countries, so a very large client. And again, same thing, verifiable business impact for using Sage Enterprise Intelligence. Very similar to the last one, more than 200 concurrent users, right? Better management of large data sets, migration, again, of disparate systems to a single scalable BI application with robust functionality. Reporting and analysis autonomy for your workforce, of course, and it provides security and governed access to data. These are real-life examples, ladies and gentlemen. I think they are very powerful examples. Hopefully you were able to view something in this presentation that resonated with you, that inspired thought, that will even create a need to maybe even just ask a few more questions. But if you're not having this conversation in your organization today, I definitely think you should, because if you're not, I guarantee your competitors are. Definitely want to thank you for your time. I want to, I guess, turn it over to Danica for our Q&A. We have our demo schedule listed here for Sage Intelligence, if you feel like that's the better fit and you want to learn more about that, or Enterprise Intelligence. Those will both be held at the end of this month, and we'll probably send out some more information around that as well. But Danica, I'm going to turn it over to you.
RKL also has a short 9-minute Sage Enterprise Intelligence overview video on the RKL YouTube site that came from Scott Watts, our BI expert. So right now, I will unmute the lines if there's any questions. Otherwise, you can put it in the Q&A chat box. Does anyone have any questions? Okay,
Thank you,
goodbye.
Danica. I appreciate it.